as a supervising ministry, or as a ministry with oversight responsibility for Chartered Institute of Taxation Ghana, we wish to use this medium to congratulate the newly qualified practitioners and also to take advantage of the occasion as stakeholders within the tax fraternity are all gathered here to brainstorm and share ideas on how we can together support Ghana Revenue Authority and by extension the government in enhancing our revenue mobilization. Call to the mission of CITG is professionalism, transparency, and such other things, excellence and integrity. We, as a body mandated by law, the Chartered Institute of Taxation Act 2016, Act 916, among other things, to engage in professional tax education and training. And for that matter, it is well placed to operate in this respect, whilst we support GRA also in their revenue mobilization. Some of the key and complex challenges that our revenue mobilization strategies as a country face, which must engage us all as practitioners, have been the issue of tax education and to ensure that we promote a culture of voluntary compliance. Tax education for me and for our ministry is a very effective way that together as a ministry and together as Chartered Institute of Taxation Ghana, we can do. It's our noble call. We need to take this initiative up and to play our respective roles in ensuring that from kindergarten right up to the tertiary level and among practitioners and among entrepreneurs, we understand as citizens our fundamental responsibilities to, with delight, pay our tax obligations. The statistics available are quite worrying. One, it is suspected that about 7 million people ought to be on payrolls, both in the public sector and within the private sector. We still have a record of 2.298 million people pay as you earn, payee. And that is woefully underpayment compared to what the total is supposed to be. A total of 47,224 companies paying corporate tax and self-employed 57,197, with VAT 44,670, bringing the total tax population to about 2.5 million. That is still very low compared to about 30 million population. It is suspected that with the ongoing synchronization of the NIA numbers and tax identification numbers, at the end of the process, the tax population will be increased by some 9 million. That will be a very good step in ensuring that we are widening the tax net and we're getting people to be able to pay their tax. But that said, there's also another challenge of the high net worth individuals who, as it is alleged, are not paying what is expected to be paid or underpaying what is expected of their estimates to be paying. These are all challenges. And we know that every economy is run on revenue. Ghana has been a budget deficit run economy for some time now. And to be able to improve on that narrative, revenue mobilization is one of our very effective ways. And on such occasions, it's important that we concern ourselves. Many countries have deployed what we call the hidden curriculum, where at the outset, you might not be assessed on it, but from KG, class 1 to JHS, pre-tertiary level, you understand that as a child, I'm growing up to want to be an entrepreneur or employ people, I have to pay tax. I'm growing up aspiring to be employed, and it's expected that my deductions will be done transparently and will be paid. Same will be paid to the state. It is expected that the many social interventions that I expect society to give me will all have to be funded substantially from tax revenue. And so at the outset, that culture and that agreement and that habit and that expectation is already imbibed in them. We have to do a lot more, even as educators and as a professional institute, to collaborate to ensure tax education is given, to ensure that we get to a time voluntary compliance will be heightened. and we will have enhanced revenue mobilization efficiency. At the moment, Ghana, with an average tax to GDP ratio of about 13.5%, which is still even lower than the average of 18.2% in Africa. There's a lot more we have to do if we must meet indeed our target of attaining, say, 17.5% by 2022. We just have a year to achieve that. This is not only the responsibility of GRA, and as an institute and as a ministry, we must embrace the modest role that we can also play in ensuring that some of these very pressing concerns are addressed. I must also appeal to the Chartered Institute of Taxation Ghana, among other things, to support or continue supporting the government digitalization initiative to streamline taxation system and to ensure these novel ideas, the initiatives that are being undertaken to ensure that we even can have digital platforms where liabilities can be complied with. Let's support such practices. Let's do whatever we can to support such initiatives and promote same. We also have a challenge to do with transfer pricing, but thankfully we have the law. We must support the enforcement of transfer pricing laws to ensure that we curb the menace of multinationals allegedly avoiding tax. These are the very current and the age-old challenges that must occupy our thinking, that must occupy our efforts and our policies. And on this note, to the newly qualified tax practitioners, for the many years of your academic training and professional training, and for the relevant years of practical exposure that you have earned into this practice, always have in mind the tenets of excellence, transparency, and integrity, and ensure that you bring same to bear in the discharge of your practice, such that the nobility that our forefathers and foremothers, if there's any word like that, who have laid solid foundation and now made the taxation practice an enviable one in Ghana and Africa, will be proud that they are transferring the baton to us. Thank you very much. God bless you.
It's always very important to ensure that wherever you find yourself, you combine two things. Being ensuring that you are a professional and also ensuring that whatever is in the profession, you have very good grasp of it. I'll tell you a story and then I'll pick up from there. He mentioned that I had worked in a number of banks. And in one of the banks that I worked with, I had two people whom I worked with. Both of them were A-level students when I met them. And one was called Isaac, one was called Paul. But for the best presentation of the story, I'll change Isaac to Silas. So we can't Paul and Silas. But the real name of the other one was called Isaac. And when I met them, they were both A-level students, and I was the management accountant, even though I never did accounting, of the firm, of the bank. In other words, I was responsible for the budgeting, planning, reporting on the performance, and things like that. When the financial accounting people finish their job, it's me who have to now interpret the numbers, and had these two people under me, and those two people were part of me in the department. Now, within 2-3 years, Isaac had a degree. In another 2 years, Isaac had a master's degree. In another 2 years, Isaac was getting a Chartered Institute of Banking qualification. Paul still had A-level. If you want to do anything in the office, they say Paul. If people are in the UK and they said, can you send us somebody to come and help us, they say Paul. There are sometimes, I nearly mentioned the bank, so I'll stop. The bank was a global one. So sometimes they will need somebody from Ghana to go to maybe India or somewhere to go and work. And they turn around and say, that's guy in your office. Then you say, no, not that one. The other one. Oh, Paul, okay. So Paul will go to UK, Paul will go to India, Paul will go to Sierra Leone. Everywhere in the world, Paul had traveled. But he had A-level. So when I was leaving the organization, I called the two of them. And I said, I've observed something among the two of you. When it comes to getting the qualifications and everything that makes sure that you can add them to your names and show that you are professional, it's Silas. When it comes to understanding the job, knowing the modern trends, understanding the technology, understanding new inventions and new things that comes to, quickly understanding that this is what this thing can do, and moving away from just your knowledge, but trying to know the trends and understanding anything technology, is Paul. So you find out that Paul keeps getting everything that he needs to get in organization. Anybody who wants any expertise, in fact, when people want to come to the office and they want somebody who can teach them, they never go to Isaac, they never go to Silas. They always go to Paul. So I asked Paul also, Paul, you two, you have been here for the past 7 years. When I came here, you had A level. And I'm leaving here, I still have A level. But everywhere that they want somebody, they call you. So the one message I want to give to the two is that I want people who can combine Silas and Paul. So my message to those who are being inducted today is that if you go there and you remain Silas with the first degree, master's, Chartered Institute of Banking, and you forget about Paul, they will count the years and count the years and count the years, but you will never be at the top there. Because when it comes onto the job, it's not only Silas that matters, but Silas plus Paul. Eventually, when there was a redundancy, Silas was declared redundant. Paul still remains up to today. So there's a Paul and there's a Silas. Why am I saying this? Taxation, as we know, is the tool that is used by government to raise revenue. All will depend upon the professional knowledge of people like us or people like you to be able to do the right thing that they have to do. As administrators, we try to raise revenue and use the provisions of the tax laws. So constantly there are challenges that come in the administration. The challenge of tax administration in Ghana has been many and diverse. There are issues about trying to achieve the voluntary compliance. There are issues about dealing with the informal sector. There are issues about dealing with e-commerce. There are issues about dealing with transfer pricing, tin capitalization, base erosion and profit shifting, and all those other ones. There are issues about cross-border transactions. There are issues about transit transactions. There are issues even when it comes to the people themselves understanding what you have put in the statutes. And therefore they talk about practice notes. Then they talk about training. And they talk about public promotion, or in other words, letting the people get to know what is in there. Some even talk about, in all these things, the challenge for us as practitioners is how do we ensure that we don't only know, but our people also know, and then our clients understand, and everybody become compliant. And for this reason, we at GRA is ready to support to ensure that we educate both the taxpayer and of us as practitioners, so that they will understand the issues at stake and not have situations where they will always present to you what is not correct, and then if we both understand it, objections will be reduced. The length of time to respond to objections will also reduce, and it will save both of us our time. We are embarking on a massive digitization drive as part of the transformation. And because that is where the world is going, if you don't go that way, you will not be able to get the revenue that you are looking for. We started saying that effective May, our taxpayer can file and also pay online, and also can pay through the banks. Indeed, training, education will be a panacea to the practice of our chosen profession. We have been working with the Tax Without Borders, who are the international, where they can come and help us to work with them and do training for the various areas that we have not been able to acquire the necessary tools. We are also ensuring that these websites I talked about is available for all our staff so that they'll be able to access these websites and be abreast with the challenges of the times. With the support of GIZ, we are setting up a solely IT training center in Tema, and we are building it from scratch, and it's going to have one of the modern IT training tools for taxation, so that people can go there and understand the modern trends. We are setting up a cyber crime unit where we'll be able to understand, because sometimes you go and pick the person's computers and you say, under order from Commissioner General, and after you have brought the computer, you don't even know how to break the codes and get what you want from the computer. You end up going to call the guy whose computer you picked and ask him to break the computer for you. This we need to, and at the end of the day, you think that it's just taxation, but taxation is more complex, because like a banker, you have to understand the oil industry, you have to understand the mining industry, you have to understand the, what do you call it, the telcos industry. And those ones, they won't teach you here. You have to learn it on the field and embrace yourself. That training institute cost us about $5 million. We have got all the parts funding and part sponsorship. To conclude, I want to emphasize that you have started and acquired this profession, but where you go and how you succeed in this profession depends so much on you. There's a story about an old man who they said that was very wise. This is my last story. And then this young man in the town said, this old man, he always thinks that he knows. We are going to him and going to trick him. So they went to him, and when they went, they had a bird in their palms. They said, old man, tell us, this bird that we have in our hands, is it dead or alive? Their plan was, if the old man says it's dead, we just release the bird and the bird will fly, and then we tell hey, the bird is alive. If he says it's alive, we squeeze it and it will die. Then we show it and say, oh, the bird is dead. So they went to the old man and they asked the old man, tell us, you say you are very wise. We have a bird in our hands. Is it dead or alive? The old man looked at the young man and said, whether the bird is dead or alive is in your hands. What you make out of this career as a professionally qualified taxation, whether it be dead or alive, is in your hands.
He is a high court judge. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Justice Ernest Gaiwo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Taking oath has always been with us since time immemorial, even before the coming of the white man. Oaths are taken by our chiefs and his ministers, and if the oaths are broken, the consequences and punishment follows. And what we are about to do is the most important aspect for today. The inductees, if you don't take this oath, which is a statutory requirement, you are not a member of the Chartered Institute of Taxation. And if you know you cannot keep to the terms of the oath, please just drop out quietly, come to your authorities, tell them I will not be able to go through it. So don't induct me into a member of the Institute of Taxation. I'll grant you 15 seconds. If you're not ready. Are you all ready? Yes. Then you may stand on your feet. And you raise your right hand to the square. Like this. Well, it is couched such that those of you who do not subscribe to any belief in God Almighty, yours is the second aspect. So there are two oaths we are going to administer today. The oath of secrecy and the official oath. We shall take the oath of secrecy first. So when I say I, then you say I, then you mention your name. Then you follow from there. So I having been admitted a member of the Chartered Institute of Taxation, Ghana, do. Yes, follow in the name of Almighty God, that I will not directly or indirectly communicate, reveal to any person, any matter, which shall be brought under my consideration, or shall come to my knowledge in the discharge of my official duties, as a member, except as may be required for the discharge of my official duties, or as may be specifically permitted by law. So help me God. Congratulations. That's the oath of secrecy. We now go to the official oath. I do in the name of the Almighty God swear that I will at all times well and truly serve the Chartered Institute of Taxation, Ghana, as a member, and that I will uphold, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and regulations of the Institute as by law established. So help me God. Congratulations to you all for formally becoming members. Clap for yourself.